All right. Welcome everybody back to Field Service Office Hours. This is the space to bring your real questions, share what's working and what's not, and grow along people in the field service community. So today we are talking about deep linking files within the mobile app. Ultimately, the goal is to how do you give your techs access to files that they need while they're out in the field. So thank you to Thomas for presenting this in the Service Blazor community. And the message was, has anybody ever successfully tried to get a deep link to a file, either a picture or PDF, working within the SFS mobile app? We need to provide pictures or small drawings in PDF format to our techs as a guidance for some work in the steps that they need to complete, like how a certain mounting needs to look. So the idea was to present a deep link URL on how, like maybe part of an SFS screen flow or for completing a work step, but he wasn't able to figure out what the URL was. Question for you, Thomas. Where are these files stored?
Decided yet. Either I would put them on the work plan or within a content library somewhere in Salesforce.
Gotcha. So you would actually host them in Salesforce because, here comes Bobby. One of the things that I've noticed is that content documents suck to get access to when you're out in the field. So one idea that we had was, or that I had, and we've got a good group of people here on the call today who can brainstorm this with us. I've uploaded a couple of things on the work order. So I wanted to show a few various ways. I have a Google Drive. So we could just link the project files to a Google Drive. I also created some links in the field service mobile settings, but I like what you suggest where it's in and part of the work steps. So when you look at the work step, that's where I thought you were going, was with the work step. So we can look at how we can insert pictures into the step and possibly as like a screen flow. Yes, perfect. Yeah, exactly. There's some file stuff. Thank you, Bruce. So there are some okay tools that exist, right? If I look at my work order here, I can see through my not my deep links, but the field service mobile app mapped to the work order. I've got access to the project file folder, and I've got access to this worksheet that actually opens the file directly in the app. But again, the files are hosted in Google Drive. Makes it so much easier to manage, to be honest. If we went another way, like through the work steps, I would probably do the same thing. I would put them into some shared repository. Because if I have them related against the list here, files do not get primed. You have to, for text, like if you actually added files attached to the work order, they're not part of the briefcase to download as cached data. So if the texts go offline, these files wouldn't be available. The only way they would get them available is if before they go out to the site, they would be at home or at the depot or wherever they start their day, and they would review the work, and they would have to open every single file in order to have it accessible on their device. So if they open it, then when they go offline, then it's saved and you can see it. Like if I change to airplane mode, let's just prove that out because sometimes Hold on. Do I even have to turn this off to be true? Offline. Yes, offline. Okay. So now if I refresh this, you can't refresh any data, but I still have access to my files because I opened them. And if I go here to look at my files here, I wouldn't be able to open them. So that would be the con of opening it this way. Oh, now all of a sudden I've got access to my Wi-Fi. Hold on. That's not why? Because of this thing? VPN on. Why? Why do I have this? It's possible that I set my drive up to be offline. I wasn't expecting to see that. I also wasn't expecting to see my Wi-Fi thing here.
That's maybe due to the screen sharing.
Yeah, maybe. But actually, so just because I can get to the file and in the folder, but I actually can't open the file because I'm not in there, right? Because I don't have them offline. But now let's look at this community thing.
Definitely doesn't address view an image in a file or a work step, certainly. And
Yeah.
it's like half cooked. There's a little bit of, hey, remember to do this, remember to do that.
Mhm.
But the one thing that occurred to me with what you were just saying is like, when you're building a briefcase, you are offered those objects to prime, but can you get that whole gnarly path with content, document link, content version? Like, will they all behave and come over?
Right. And one of the things that I thought I would be able to have with like work steps, and I totally thought this would be awesome and on the roadmap, but it's not, is like maybe in the description or put like a rich text field on the work step itself. That way, when they click on the work step, they can see the details and they would be able to see that. But I don't have that capability. So let's actually prove that out, because I think the rich text fields in field service don't support graphics. So is that what you were visualizing or wishing that you had, Thomas?
I tried doing it via ScreenFlow because that works. Most of the work steps need to record some extra data.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay.
And since forms or dynamic, I think they call it dynamic data capture, is not available yet.
No, and I think we were playing with that before too.
Yeah. It's a pity that they didn't make it available as action within work steps.
Yeah.
But I heard rumors it shall come in summer.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Which is soon, right? Like summer is soon. So we should start seeing things like that. So I think this is my site check-in that I was playing with recently. 318 sounds right. Data capture essay, check-in action. Yeah, this is the one in the flow. So when you were in the flow in the screen, were you able to embed the photo?
Not within the screen, but I was able to create a rich text field, which will get that deep link URL filled out. But whenever I try to access it, regardless what I used, although it was a file on the work order, which I could directly access through the related tab, it's always said, oops, something has happened, and didn't provide any more information, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I must be missing something.
I don't know about that. There are some constraints, right? There are some platform constraints. So let's just save as a new version, save this. I'm just uploading an image, like hard-coded image. And then I was using this site check-in flow. So let's go back to my work order and let's just see. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Let's just close some of this. It might have been this one, but I'm going to close that too. I might as well clear my cache metadata on my mobile app and get out of airplane mode. All right, so let's pop this out. And I don't know if I have that work plan on my thing. I don't. So let's just add a work plan. I don't. I think it's this one. Okay, so we can see it on the desktop. It's adorable. Now, let's just see if it works on the mobile app. On the service appointment. No, Leanne, it's on the work. I have to do this foolish thing. Okay. I haven't set my global settings for work plans yet. They should be public. I don't know. Have you found that too, Thomas? Like it works way better when you've got your work plans set as public sharing?
We're sharing them. I think work plans are automatically shared by the work order, if I'm not totally wrong, if I saw that.
You might have had to create a flow to create that sharing rule.
No, I don't think we had. I need to check it in the system. I wouldn't know it on the top of my head. But
oh, really? Okay.
I think they're shared automatically. It's only works the work plan templates which was a little bit tricky. So far.
Yeah, the templates. Yeah, if there are certain groups that can only manage and update certain work steps or work templates, yeah, I get that.
Fun thing is if you're mapping custom fields from a work step template to a work step, I always run into errors. So I have to refresh, link the thing, save it, run into an error, refresh the page again, and eventually it saves.
Yeah.
Nice bug.
One of the things that I thought could have helped us with showing images was a knowledge article, but couldn't link the knowledge article, call the link to the article, but we want it embedded right in the screen flow.
Even if the image, if it's just the link which they can click on. So really using this deep link structure, which Bruce already posted in the chat. That's what I try to generate that link automatically, because I can easily populate the file link into a custom field on a work step template, where then
the concern that I have with the deep link is that deep link is to open the app that you want to get to. But in some cases, it doesn't have to be a deep link. It could just be a URL. Okay. So for example, this right here, this works perfectly fine. It just opens the file folder itself, or in here, right? These just open the file directly. The only time we would ever need to use a deep link is if we have to move into another app on the device and then perform some sort of action. Like in this case, this one's saying open up Salesforce 1 and then create a CPQ quote. So
I tried to misuse that hey, let's jump just to that record, to that file record within the Field Service app. But so far, I was unsuccessful because I exactly tried it this way, just with the respective links for the Field Service app there. But it didn't really pull. Maybe Salesforce one. That's something which I didn't try yet.
Yeah, but we don't really want them to open another app.
If that solves the issue,
Fair
it's a
enough.
workaround of one of those limitations. There's so many. We have so many implemented, meanwhile, so many workarounds in the Field Service app and in flows and come around those limitations.
Yes, that is true.
Challenging.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else have any ideas here for Thomas on how we can get an image embedded into a screen flow?
We had a client who carried around HTML docs, and we attached those to the record, and they could just open them because they were there.
HTML?
Yeah. But here, so image is king, but also what you're saying is you have related it to the record, to the work step. It's up. That file is sitting there related to a record that's primed and out there, right?
Yeah.
And you're deep linking, you're trying to go all the way to the file and make it open and fill the screen. Have you tried just going to the record it's related to? And maybe the nav's, oh, now I got to go to related and files, but at least once you get there, you win. Have you, I know you're doing the ambitious thing, trying to go all the way to the file, but have you tried just get to that work step and get that on the screen through your deep link?
Not yet, honestly, because I wanted to really display it basically when they click on the link.
Yeah. And you wanted to, and not deep link and a half, but deep link.
Yeah. But it's a good thing to try, at least if it's possible.
Yeah. Just wish there was a way to embed that, because you're right. That's all they really want to have, right? This display image. So the display image, what's that? I don't know.
I think that's going to be one you might find is not supported on mobile.
100%.
There in the canvas, looks pretty. You can put it on there and probably even debug, but it might go boom.
Yeah, and then, but then, weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, great, display image, but from where? There's no source of the image. Image CSS, image height, but like the file, where's the image file? Like in the CSS? That doesn't make sense. I don't get this component at all, so totally not the right one. Yeah. We did explore the forms. Okay, so there is did I create them all down here? Just so that you can see. So the forms do exist. You could probably play with that now, but I guess the question is, are you able to do what you are looking to do? I think that's what's coming in summer, right? Add that graphic. Uploading image, right?
I hope so. We're uploading images through Field Service mobile flows right now, because currently the way forms are implemented doesn't really fit to our needs. Because background is we have implementation managers who manage those checklists, or basically like a staging of a device or an installation checklist and so on, for various different projects. And we don't want them to end up and doing all individual documents and those within the setup for us.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be able to do that on their own and reuse those checklists so that
for every single project.
And reuse those step templates. So make a lot of things reusable so you can also compare the data to each other between the different projects properly. And today they're using GoCanvas as an isolated app in a lot of forms. I don't know if you're familiar with that or somebody real. It's basically a form app. It builds forms quite nicely, but
It's called Go Canvas.
GoCanvas, yeah, what they're using.
Really?
It's
And
just sorry, go ahead.
But does it embed with Field Service or no? You'd have to deep link. They have their own standalone app.
Correct.
So this one should have a deep link.
But that's something which we actually want to replace because GoCanvas doesn't have all the data in the background. We can streamline, we can cut down the effort of filling it out with the Salesforce data we have anyway.
Okay.
By at least 20%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's asset data. All that asset data is not in there. And we would have then at the end of the day, again, the issue that we have to get all the data captured with GoCanvas back into Salesforce and set up interfaces. Besides of paying 2 licenses instead of 1.
That's the challenge. So looking at what is already out there. Oh, hello. This is the one that we're working with right now, or that I'm partnering with right now on a project. I have 2 customers that are using this product. And the reason why they like it is because of what you're saying. But these people have like 30 or 40 forms that they have to fill out into the field. And another customer, when they're filling it out, they're filling it out for large hospital complexes. So there's many buildings and then many floors in the building and then many rooms. So they have to keep track of so many data points. And this company or this product does a really good job at that. And then it creates the extract either in an Excel file or a PDF file in a bundle or just a standalone form. So they do form intake, input, they do Salesforce data mapping back to the system, and then they also do the output generation. So we like this one because it did all 3 of those things.
Yeah.
Do you have to do any output stuff? Like any PDFs have to be sent to the customer, or is it all just?
That's something we're doing already today. We have automated it already so far that every every checklist which is generated also populates into a library where the guys can download then the files. The customers have access through the digital experience portal to it already so that they can view it on their own if they need to.
That's awesome.
And a lot of PDFs which are generated are today not even necessary anymore because it's usually just to pass data on. For example, the guys in the field have been, or in the past, our project used to that PDFs to pass it back to the headquarter so that the guys in the headquarter could check if there are any manufacturer serial issues in there. And they were screening the PDFs again. And we said, hey, sorry, that's such a waste of time. If we have the data in one system at the end, where you can have a real-time view on what's going on and where the issues are. So and that's where we started with all of that. And then more and more requirements came up. Oh, we need this extra, we need that, we need so actually just having the option to display pictures and this workarounds is the last little bit which I would need to provide to get really completely rid of that other app.
Gosh. Did I not activate this? I do want to see if
I really hope that they will integrate forms within work steps as actions because that will also help a lot.
I agree. They did say that was also on the roadmap. How come my forms aren't being shown here?
Because forms, to be honest, for us, for our use cases we have so far, we heavily use work plans, which are automatically populated across different projects for all kinds of work in the field. So forms with this hard, strict thing is, or hard, strict construct they have brought in there was not really usable for us. And I didn't see a benefit to screen flows, except that forms can do what screen flows should be able to do.
No,
Overlap.
I agree. Oh, I'm silly. This is the one I'm looking for. Okay. This is the check-in data capture work order. Let's just see. Required one. Say. That's fine. 10. But that's good to know that you at least tried the forms to see if maybe that would work.
Yeah. So when I saw that coming out, I was excited, tried it out, but somehow disappointed with some of the functionalities there yet.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah,
also, like you have to build some custom logic to attach the forms to the correct work orders, which is available already in work plans.
I do just want it at work plans. I don't know what's taking so long here, but something went wrong.
To be honest, I didn't really understand the point of forms versus work plans, because maybe make field service screen flows work the way they should be instead.
From a background perspective, I'll tell you a little bit of history as I heard it. When they built this app, they built it on a particular framework. I don't know exactly what it was. And then so they shopped the idea around some product managers internally at Salesforce. And one product manager was like, no, you shouldn't build it on this framework. It should be on that framework. You're going to regret it. And so they were like, nah. And they went with what they thought. And so the regret totally happened. So instead because they couldn't, that's why we have the flows the way that we have them, is because they needed it to be offline first. So they essentially, it's like taking a snapshot of the way that flows work at that point in time, because it works, right? And then as flows evolved, the underlying framework, I think it's like Lightning Runtime, we didn't benefit from it on the app because it wasn't the framework that didn't support that. So short of rebuilding a whole new app, they were like, let's just build forms and have it do what we wanted or what we want the flows to do. So I think that's the experience, I think. But yeah, I'm with you. I think like the work plans, forms launching from a work plan is for sure. Like we had a client that they were deciding on refactoring their work plans. And unfortunately, they structured the templates like too granular, and they created a flow for every single step as opposed to one flow can rule them all with some logic. So we wanted to simplify it even further. I thought, could we even simplify it even more if we launched forms? But yeah, same issue.
That's how we did it. We have, but it's two flows. Whoa. That was the forms now?
Yeah, what did I do? Let's not show it here. What did I do? Okay.
Maybe I just misuse forms to display the file then.
I don't know. Now. Again, back to the way that talk track that we just had, right? Yeah. What is it that we want it to do, that we're expecting it to do? Yeah, this is just a display text, and then I just uploaded the file exactly the way that I did it in a flow, and it's appearing. So while we're gathering this information, I've got a picture here. So either upload a picture, see the photo, what's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But to be clear, that is uploaded into your forms field. It's not coming from a record. So this form would show, is 100%. That true? Is that what that
Yes.
So this form would show that image. Okay.
This form would show this image. There's nothing dynamic about it because I hard-coded, uploaded the image into this screen for this flow. Correct. So I don't know what it would look like if I embedded a photo. I don't know how to make this dynamic. The point.
or it's one form per use case and I don't know if that's, hey, pick the one you want to show, or if how you can scope the form to this record or these records. I got you, boo. Here's the form to show, right?
Yeah. Because like I haven't really played yet with the what form do you want to, or what is the task that you're working on, right? And then it can decide what form I should be presenting to you.
If there's any option to give that image to that display text kind of thing, I don't know. That's the display text, isn't it?
Yeah, display text. Yeah, you're trying it in your org?
Not parallel, because I'm currently traveling.
Okay. Yeah. So
actually, I'm based out of Germany, but I'm currently in the US.
Oh, timing worked out then.
Yep, timing
Nice.
worked out well this time.
Okay, great. So we do record this, so I'll throw it back up so at least you can be reminded of the steps. We're
Yes.
about halfway through.
Mhm.
And then we hit
Yes.
Eureka.
Maybe something I will try. I'll find if there's an option that I can get it somehow dynamically in there.
Yeah, the dynamic part, I don't know if that's going to work because it's actually embedded into the
Yeah.
screen. Right? And I don't know how decisions work in here yet. So I'm, yes, cautiously optimistic that we can make this dynamic. However, yeah,
It's a little
photos
bit
work.
tricky with those forms with parent ID and what is parent ID currently and what is. I played
Yes.
around with that earlier.
Yeah. So the way that I did it to get it to work,
Mhm.
ID equals record ID. And then
Yeah.
I assigned record ID to be the parent record ID. And then I wanted to update. I don't know if this works because I'm wondering if this should also say parent ID. Anyways, I
Actually,
can double check with that mapping that I did here, but
Okay.
yeah.
so it's
But-
no. Yeah.
Yeah, very promising. I am going to see next month. I'm going to the in-person office hours, like the product advisory team. Like we get to go visit the product team. So
Oh,
I'll
cool.
share whatever kind of juicy information. There was supposed to be a meeting. Let me check if we even have a meeting this month. Oh yeah. So next week, Thursday, I have a virtual meeting. So I'll be able to share some more information in a couple of weeks. More on product direction and things like that. So,
That sounds good.
but yeah, it sounds like we're a little bit out of luck in terms of how to display the photos embedded in a screen flow, because the best place to put it is in, the work step. So as they're completing the work step, they get access to see the photo as well as complete all of the information that we need to capture in that step.
Yeah.
That would be a dream.
Absolutely. But maybe I will play around with the links or the URLs without
And see.
linking as well. If I can relate it somehow back. Unfortunately, the company is quite strict on such things like external shares with public drives or something like that. So you don't want to necessarily have your intellectual property out there.
Not like this, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I get that. That's why I was asking you, where are those files stored? Because linking to the content documents aren't that great. But with some of these articles, we might be able to prime files.
Offline is not the big issue for us because to be honest, in the majority of times they are online anyway. Especially those checklists which require those are most likely done in warehouses or in staging areas where they have good network connection.
Okay. So that's good. That helps.
That
Reduces
would help.
one complexity. Yeah, exactly.
Offline is quite a common use case for some of our customers, especially in utility space and power space. Those work underground. Underground is no exception. And I'm from Australia, and our reception in the country isn't great either. So offline is quite a common use case. I think that's what you were alluding to earlier. The previous framework didn't support offline capability to, I think, create objects in offline mode. And we found a similar challenge while implementing SFS with one of our customer. We couldn't do objects creation of 2 to 3 level hierarchy. It's like a child object that has a parent and a grandparent. So offline that LWC didn't support that at the time, and we were eagerly waiting for forms. And I'm a little disappointed that it is still not there yet. But we ended up, similar case to you guys, like you said, Go Canvas. We ended up implementing Eureka for them. Eureka,
oh, you did? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a client that's using Eureka and they're happy with it. And then I had another client that couldn't use Eureka because of the output component. Eureka doesn't offer a PDF type. So we would have had to sign up with SDocs, and the customer already didn't like the fact that they were using another third-party app. So to get a second one in order to get the PDF creation output nailed down, Field, unfortunately, we had to pivot, and that's how we found True Context.
Yeah.
They were formerly Pronto Forms.
Yeah. No, Eureka works quite well.
Perfect.
Do better in terms of usability in some areas. But
Yeah.
Made it work.
Yeah. That's what it is, right? Is if it fits the perfect use case, then we're good. But yeah, we didn't realize at the time how important the output was. And they say, yes, we can create an PDF, but it's just fields stacked on top of each other. You can't format that. So the answer was, yes, we can create PDF outputs. So it's just, they're not formatted. So got to be very explicit in your requirements.
Yeah. Sales response. Yes, we can do it.
Yeah. It was a weird thing too, and I never heard of it before, but like during the sales process, like the Salesforce sales process, they brought Eureka in. And so there was like a bundled type of thing. I didn't even know that was a thing that was offered. So it was almost like Salesforce was the reseller. And when we talked to the sales team, they were like, we don't recall so many sales conversations because it's like Salesforce sold it for us.
Yeah, because Salesforce is one of the investors in Eureka, apparently. So Eureka has grown a lot.
Yeah, it definitely has grown a lot. Interesting. Yeah. There's another company, XOI. I have another customer that's looking at XOI, and same kind of thing for forms, but it's not widely used in the field service space. It's more about, so job site productivity. This is the one. And it's an interesting thing because they have it very workflow driven. So here's step 1, do all the things. And then they extract like the information that you captured from your photo or all this. Like a lot of this has been built around that customer I'm talking about. So all of these items was purpose built for that one customer.
Is it a third party like standalone, or is it Salesforce native?
So it's standalone, and they just finished. I should find out how it went because I think March was when they just finished building the infrastructure to connect this platform to the Salesforce platform. So they were building that connection. So I should find out how that went, because that was a big gap for them too, because they wanted to do the check-in, check-out, and they had all the work order line items. And so they wanted to know, like, how long did we spend on each asset? And they had all that information in the XOI form, but it never had the ability to go back and update that work order line item to start time, end time, and all those things. They didn't capture that information, but they're making significant investments in that space. So I would keep an eye on this company too, because they're all starting to make it very flow, like workflow based, and then also decoupled. You know how like our flows are very serialized? Like you have to do this, stay in the flow until the whole thing's done. But sometimes they start one job, like they turn something on, and then they have to let it run for a couple hours, and they got to go to the next machine, and they got to do it, start it, and then do the thing, and then they leave it, and then go to the next one to set up a rig, and right. So they don't work on one thing all the way from start to end. They start something and stop it, and then go to another one, start it and stop it. Then they pick up where they left off, and so it's matrix style of work. It's not sequential. And that's what he didn't like about, or the customer that I spoke to, he didn't like that about the field service mobile flows, because you're stuck in one flow. Otherwise, you break it out into multiple flows. And like now you have to number them or put it in the right order. Step 1, do this. And step 2, do that. And that's where work steps became powerful. But yeah, sometimes you could do step 4 before step 2. It was like a loosely coupled process. So it's interesting. That's why they like this product, because it's matrix style of working.
Right.
So lots of form options out in the market versus what is coming with Salesforce. And yeah, so I guess summer is when the next release is. That's supposed to be promising to have a lot more features, but not sure exactly what those features are yet. Haven't tested them out. When is the next pre-release? So when do our sandboxes get the pre-release? Just Googling it on the side here. Summer release date, May 16. So that's the preview, I think. Oh, they already have a page already. Well, that's not what I expected. Yeah, so I guess May 16 is a pre-release. Good, they're already talking about it. Get early access. So April 17, we've got to sign up for our pre-release orgs. Just a few weeks away. Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions or any direction on where we should go next? Today I was supposed to focus on Einstein for field service, but I didn't have my act together. And then Thomas came in with his question. So I'm really thankful that you came up with that question, because I wasn't ready for the topic. But Einstein for field service is next. So things like the work summary form, this one, like the post-work summary and even the pre-work summary. I wanted to try that out because I've never tried it out and I've never even set it up before. So I wanted to get into that. Has anybody tried that out yet?
Not yet, but it's on the list for us as well. So we're currently talking with Salesforce piloting this in a couple of teams
Oh, that's great.
in the
Yeah,
future. So we'll try that out if it brings any value to the text.
that's right. So that the same customer who's using this XOI one,
Mhm.
they're trying out like this, it does the work order closure in this form. And when the guys are seeing the work order summary that was generated, they're editing it because like it's not what they would say. Well,
I could
no.
expect it.
Yeah. Like how you don't do that? And but they can't help it. They see it and they're like, yeah.
And is that like opportunities and quotes where it ends up then feeding back into the source data, or is that just too much to ask?
Well, it's supposed to update this field here. Is that what you mean, George?
Let me see, the comparison between quotes and opportunities. If you create an opportunity, then have a quote, and then you say, I want the quote to be a little bit different, and you update the quote, then it actually goes back and updates the opportunity line item. So that's what I was referring to, like source data, where is there, if on the closure form, we have to change something to get a signature, does that then maybe feed back to the line, to the work order line items or whatever?
That's interesting. Okay, so I'll just take a step back and think about the form itself. So the form is supposed to update data. It could also create data. Once a form is completed, you cannot edit it. So that's one thing about forms, is that it is not, you can't open it up and then modify the data. I don't know when that's on the roadmap. So that's one current limitation that we have with forms. If it was a field service flow, we can run those flows all day, right? We can update the data. Oh, you remember you can preview the service report and you can read it before you get the customer to sign it. You can see, oh, did I to say that? Oh, wait, that's not quite right. Go back, redo your flow to capture your notes. And then, yeah, it would update. Then when you run the service document or the service report, it would update. So in terms of the post-work summary, that's a good question. It's about order of execution. When do we populate the post-work summary? And do we want to include that in the service report?
Right. And
Interesting.
when you said the word complete earlier, to me, complete might mean it's signed, which is totally when we should no longer be able to change anything, because that's, you shouldn't. But is it, you can work interactively with that report and then recommit it, update whatever woolies you need to or whatever, and then sign, and then everything is locked.
Yeah. So we don't have the ability to preview the form, like the form or the service document, and then make changes. Although I do wonder, this data capture flow, could I pre-populate required value service note? I wonder if I could pre-populate the data in here, and then like we create a form that's like a preview review before you generate the document. It's like you could pre-populate. I've got a default value here of the service note. So I could pre-populate the note, technician can add to it and modify it, and then hit done. And then I guess the question is, do we leverage what the tech wrote in the service note and then do it in this post-work summary? It's like a summary of what the tech said, plus the products consumed. I'm hoping like the assets we worked on, like I wonder what data points that we can put to influence and ground the summary. So that's all the stuff that I'm thinking about. But in terms of editing the form and then the data and sync back, like when we're launching the form, yes, we can pre-populate some data. Yes. Update that data. Yes. If the form is complete, then we can't go back and do the flow, but we can update or do the form, but we could update that data other ways. But then once the report is signed, then it's done. But this one, yeah, I think that's my biggest question is, do we trust the post-work summary enough to put it and include it on the work service report, and the tech doesn't have to write anything anymore? Are we there yet? I don't even know. Because I think that was the dream, where technicians don't have to write their summary reports anymore because AI can do it for them. But I don't know how it can do that without some sort of I did this and I did that kind of inputs from the tech.
Yeah, and some of that could maybe come from the checklists or whatever. But anyway, it sounds like it's up in the air.
Yeah, up in the air, totally. So I do want to see what data points can I feed in to influence the work summary report. Thomas, from your perspective, as you guys are thinking about pursuing Einstein for field service, how are you thinking about using this work summary?
Work summary is not that much of an interest for us right now.
Okay.
Or the pre-work brief that we're
Pre-work.
looking into, because because when they're driving from ticket to ticket, that they can already listen to what's expecting. Because it is, as always, which field tech does like to read lengthy tickets or get all the details in there? You can be glad if they fill out all of the details. They should.
True. That's so
why,
true.
That's why we try to minimize that. We might be looking into the work summary as well, but like I said, I think it's the same what you said. I don't think we're there yet.
Okay. All right.
If I look at the stuff where I played around with all the different AI tools, when going into details and exactly trying to achieve something like that, I got quite disappointed by all those AI tools so far. Generic stuff works fine, but not that detailed.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. I have one last thing that I want to show you. So I was playing around with, I tinker around a lot and I get squirreled a lot. And so I thought, I had a conversation with my ChatGPT and I was like, can you help me not be squirreled? Or if I am squirreled, make it so that the experiments that I'm working on is purposeful. And it came up with this cool framework for me. The thing I'm exploring, right? So I was like, okay, let's see if I like it. I'm going to see if I use it to Thomas's use case. This is what I thought I would do. So what am I exploring? Make it easy for text to access files from the mobile app. But it's even actually further. It's as they are inputting their information, include reference photos so that as they're gathering the information, they can just validate, does it look like this kind of experience? That's what you're thinking, Thomas?
Yep.
Yep. And then the outcome, right? So I feel like this was really helping me get really clear on what's the outcome, like being intentional. If this worked perfectly, what would change? What's the exact use case? Who is this going to help? Describing the value. Is it aligned to your values? And then energy check, because I'm like a woo person. So am I energized or am I feeling drained by this activity? And then is this a future I want to live in? That would be cool. If I'm working on some sort of project, I kind of want to get excited about it and I want it to be something that drives change. So anyways, so then now we can capture the results and then anything that we would do differently and then final check-in. Are we going to actually add this to our workflow? Are we sharing it with people and that kind of stuff? Do you all use a framework this to manage your experiments?
I use the same framework as ESO. It's a dumb squirrel or blind squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
Just run in a direction and change when the mood catches you.
Just hit a wall. Yeah. That was my way. Like I also throw like the throwing spaghetti on the wall, what sticks. But then, yeah, I don't want to lose. Like sometimes some things stick and some things don't. So I want to know what stuck and yeah.
To get serious, like back, I did work in healthcare IT, and we did have the Pieces framework, which is something that's
Oh.
published. And we weren't the people who were going to implement what was going on, but it was an environment where like 1,000 flowers bloom, and this person is an MD, PhD, and they want their special thing, or this guy needs a server under this desk because, and it was just explore all that and help the CIO keep a lid on things or keep abreast of what's going on and really highlight the interestingness of things and maybe point out patterns and themes in where people were going. And so as cloud was coming in and Outer was like, what? That's ridiculous. Why would we ever put something outside our four walls? We just built a gazillion-dollar server farm. It was to have the conversation like outside of the no, you may not, but what is driving this and what are the trends and what tailwinds are people picking up that might form new needs in a couple of years, but everyone's going to give throat to.
Cool. This is neat. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else? Cool. Okay, well, that wraps it for today. Next week, we'll talk about Einstein for Field Service. Hopefully, I get my act together and knock that out. And yeah, wishing you all a great rest of the week. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Many
Wow.
thanks.
See ya.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.